Good morning. Welcome to the Treasury One ETM Analytics Weekly Market Update. Presented by myself, Wichert Cilliers, and with me today is currency strategist Andre Cilliers. Andre, I'm going to start off with the dollar. The dollar's been under pressure for the last week or so, and that's because of yields that we've seen in the US that's come under pressure, quite a bit of pressure, long-term yields. The long-term yields has come under pressure on the back of a few fronts, a few data points that's come out a little bit weaker than expected, and on the back of the uncertainty about the tariffs that Mr. Trump wants to do. Then the 1 week he says he's going to do tariffs, he's going to implement it, then he implements it, and 1 day later he reneges on it. So that's uncertainty. Doesn't bode well for the dollar and for the yields. The Atlanta Fed nowcast, which nowcast they call what's going to happen with GDP in the US. At the moment, they're expecting the US to, we want to call it the recession. We've been talking about the US recession for a while, and then we've talked about US exceptionalism. And now the Fed Atlanta has come out and says they're expecting growth to turn negative as soon as Q1 of 2025. Retail sales in the US is a little bit under pressure. PMIs are not printing well, although non-farm payrolls came out on Friday. It came out better than expected, up at 175,000 jobs that was created. And that even factors into the government that didn't employ as much as expected. So unemployment still around the 4% mark. So the jobs market still holding up well, but some of the other data not doing too well. So longer term yields has come down, and we've seen the dollar follow suit. If you look at the graph, you'll see what happens in the US Treasury market yield and what happens in the dollar sort of encompasses them, and we've seen the dollar retreat quite a bit. But that leaves the Federal Reserve in a little bit of a conundrum, and we've seen the market repriced a bit. So what do we expect on the Federal Reserve front, Andre?
Yes, thank you, Wichert. If we look at what can be expected from the Fed, then if we look at this graph, and just a week or two ago, we spoke about the possibility of the Federal Reserve only moving once in 2025. Now, if we go to a lot of things that I've said before, the one thing that I've always said is markets are a very interesting place, and they always seem to be getting ahead of themselves. So a little bit of a shift in some of the figures that came out last week, like Wichert alluded to, and suddenly now the people are saying 3 cuts for the year 2025. It feels like a movie that we've seen before, if I look at this graph, because we've spoken about this last year several times, about how the market priced in then 5 cuts and 7 cuts and 4 cuts and 3 cuts, always getting ahead of themselves and then correcting themselves afterwards. And I fear that this is, as I say, a movie we've seen before. 3 cuts, I don't think is on the cards. If I look at the inflation rate that is still at elevated levels, it's still not near the 2% target. Yes, their jobs are fairly robust and doing well, and so is the unemployment figure that remains very low. But a lot of people's been put out of jobs in government. Now, we have to see how this filters through to other areas of the economy and how that filters through to what happens in America. We have to wait and see what happens with tariffs. The 2nd of April becomes a very important date. Tariffs on China and on Canada has now been withdrawn again till the 2nd of April. But the word is that on the 2nd of April, they will be finished with their analysis across all their trading partners and then announce tariffs across all their trading partners, which I fear will include South Africa. And we are on the front line in America at the moment. So I fear that that will, on the 2nd of April, most probably be included in that announcement. And we have to see and wait how this filters through to consumer spending and everything before we put the cart before the horses to speak about 3 cuts for 2025. But for now, That's what we work with, and that's why the dollar is where it is.
Andre, yeah, so we will continue to watch the inflation data out of the US on Wednesday. But I think of particular interest on Wednesday for the viewers out there is what's going to happen from the South African budget front. We were supposed to have a budget 2 weeks ago. There was the whole debate about the VAT increase with the RNE stopped. And we will have the new budget presented to us on Wednesday. What can we expect from the budget?
Yeah. So if we look at this graph and pictures that you have on here for us, it clearly tells us where's the problem. It says we're spending way too much on our debt and have way too little to spend on the rest. And the rest is actually where growth is being facilitated, especially when you go down to things like economic development, and you go down to health, and you go down to traffic, roads and so forth, infrastructure. That's where you need the money. That's where if you spend it there, then you will have facilitated a little bit of growth. And out of that growth, you will be able to grow your GDP. And if your GDP grows, then your income eventually will also grow. But this graph clearly tells us we have a spending problem. And we can see where our money is being spent. And then where we spend money, we all read every day on the news how we misappropriate funds. So this needs to be addressed on Wednesday. But that's why the previous budget made provision for a 2% increase in VAT, is because they need more money. But then they went and said, we need more money, and then we give it all out to social welfare and stuff, so forth. That's not how you plan for the future, because then you become more and more of a welfare state. So we can speculate as much as we want to, but we want to see on Wednesday, firstly, that the budget is actually being read. Secondly, that the RNE partners is in agreement, and that it is a budget that after being read and debated will be approved. And three, we need to see how it facilitates growth, and we need to see how spending is being allocated in the right areas to facilitate that growth. And we have to address the collection of money, because if we listen to what Mr. Kieswetter from SARS and everybody says, there's a lot of money that is still not being collected as it should be collected. So maybe a little bit of more money should go to SARS so that they can appoint the right people so that they can get the money for us. Because apparently if we get all the money that we should be getting, we don't need to increase taxes at all, and we will actually have more money to spend. So those are the areas that needs to be addressed, that we need to look at, and that we need to focus on during this budget. But I'm not going to speculate any further on that, and we'll wait for Wednesday, and then we'll discuss this in depth more on Thursday when we present a webinar where you can all also log into and listen to the discussion there.
Yeah, to everybody, Andre just mentioned, to everybody that hasn't registered for the webinar, more than welcome to register for the webinar. We'll have an in-depth analysis of what we expect from the budget. And Ilse Marie and George Glenos will join us from ETM side on Thursday for this. And lastly, Andre, just before we end off, we're just going to touch on the currency, the Rand. What do you expect from the Rand? How does it trade at the moment? And are we still comfortable in the wider 18 to 19 range?
I'm absolutely comfortable within the 18 to 19 range. And I think we should next week on this graph, when we put it up, have the volatile printed in bold and fatter, bigger letters, because that's what we're going to live with. As long as we don't know what happens with tariffs, as long as Donald Trump makes all sorts of tweets, and as long as the euro also remains volatile and other currencies remain volatile in terms of their value against the dollar, and we don't know what happens geopolitically in Israel and Gaza, and we have no idea what happens between Russia and Ukraine and how those peace talks are happening, things will be volatile, and 1819 is on the cards. And if the volatility increase 1775, 1925 could be on the cards. I'm simply sticking to my volatile period because that's what we're living with at the moment, and that's what we have.
Andre, thanks so much for the update. Everybody out there, enjoy the week, and hopefully we'll see you on Thursday. Cheers.